The 1940s were a defining decade for pickup trucks, but not all of them were the heavy-duty haulers we think of today. Some manufacturers experimented with smaller, more compact designs, creating pickups that were practical for tight budgets and limited resources during and after the war. Today, we're highlighting the 10 smallest pickups of the 1940s. These pint-sized trucks were built to get the job done, even if they didn't pack a lot of power or size. Get ready to discover some of the tiniest workhorses from a bygone era. Let's roll back in time. There is something uniquely evocative about the vehicles of a bygone era, especially the humble pickups that once carried the weight, both literal and figurative, of small-town America, bustling farms, and fledgling businesses. These were not just trucks, they were threads in the fabric of their time, woven into the daily rhythms of a rapidly changing world. They served as quiet workhorses during decades when practicality and resourcefulness defined much of life. Today, seeing one of these vehicles is like stumbling upon a portal into the past, a relic that whispers stories of resilience, innovation, and human connection. Imagine a crisp autumn morning in 1947. The sun has barely risen, casting a warm golden hue over the fields and country roads. Somewhere, a Studebaker M5 pickup rumbles to life, its flathead six-cylinder engine letting out a steady, rhythmic growl. The truck's driver, perhaps a farmer, climbs into the cab, his hands weathered from years of labor. The cab is sparse, offering no luxuries, just a plain bench seat, a simple speedometer, and a thin steering wheel that feels oddly oversized in his grip. Yet, it's enough. This truck isn't about comfort or indulgence. It's a tool, a companion that bridges the gap between effort and sustenance. The bed of the truck is loaded with crates of produce bound for the local market. Maybe it's apples, their skin gleaming under the morning light, or bundles of freshly harvested corn tied together with twine. The truck lumbers down the dirt road, its tires kicking up a soft trail of dust. Along the way, the driver waves to a neighbor tending his field, sharing a brief but meaningful connection in the quiet countryside. These moments, mundane yet profound, are what these trucks lived for. They weren't just vehicles, they were enablers of connection, whether it was between a farmer and his crops or a craftsman and his trade. The story of these trucks begins with their unassuming design. Engineers and designers of the time worked with the tools and knowledge available, creating machines that were straightforward and resilient. The rounded fenders and simple grills of the 1940s and 1950s pickups gave them a cheerful, approachable appearance. Unlike the aggressive styling of modern trucks, these vehicles seem to smile, inviting you to trust them for the hard work ahead. Beneath their modest exteriors lay durable frames and dependable engines, built to withstand the challenges of rural roads, unpredictable weather, and heavy loads. Despite their functionality, these pickups were never truly about power or speed. Their engines were modest, often producing horsepower numbers that would seem laughable today. Yet they were perfectly adequate for their time, built for practicality over performance. Their value lay in their ability to get the job done. Whether that job was delivering supplies to a remote farm, transporting tools to a construction site, or even serving as an impromptu family vehicle for a trip into town. They were multi-purpose machines that adapted to the needs of their owners, often becoming indispensable members of the household. As the years passed, these trucks began to tell stories through their wear and tear. Every dent in a fender, every scratch in the bed, every stain on the upholstery spoke of a life lived in service. Perhaps the owner added a homemade wooden rack to the bed for hauling hay, or maybe the passenger door squeaked every time it opened, a quirk that became as familiar as the sound of the engine starting. These details gave each truck a personality, making it more than just a machine. It became a repository of memories, a reminder of early mornings, hard work, and the satisfaction of a job well done. Today, these vintage pickups hold a special place in the hearts of enthusiasts and casual admirers alike. Restored examples gleam like jewels at car shows, their polished chrome and vibrant paintwork drawing crowds of onlookers. But even the unrestored, rust-covered survivors have a certain charm, telling an unvarnished truth about their lives. They're time capsules, each carrying a slice of history that feels tangible and alive. When you sit behind the wheel of one, you're not just driving a vehicle, you're stepping into the shoes of someone from another era, feeling the world as they felt it. Yet beyond their historical and emotional significance, these trucks remind us of a time when simplicity was a virtue. They represent a philosophy of design and life that valued durability, utility, and authenticity. In an age where modern vehicles are laden with technology and excessive features, the straightforward nature of these old pickups feels refreshing, even liberating. They didn't need to impress with touch-screen displays or boast about horsepower figures. They impressed with their ability to endure, to keep going, no matter the challenge. The 1940 Datsun Type 17 pickup, though small in stature, looms large in the story of automotive history. Its humble beginnings serve as a testament to the ingenuity and practicality of early Japanese engineering, a symbol of how necessity can drive innovation, particularly in the face of challenging circumstances. As one of Japan's earliest attempts at mass-producing small utility vehicles, the Type 17 represents not just a vehicle but an entire shift in the way the Japanese economy was beginning to adapt to industrialization in the midst of an uncertain global landscape. The Type 17 pickup was designed in a time when Japan was still transitioning from a predominantly agrarian society to an industrialized one, and the global economic recovery after the Great Depression was far from uniform. In this atmosphere of limited resources, scarcity, and austerity, vehicles like the Type 17 were crafted to offer practical, affordable solutions for the working class. At just 140 inches in length, the Type 17 was as compact as it was functional. Its small size made it ideal for navigating the congested streets of growing cities and the narrow, winding roads that crisscrossed rural Japan. In an era when larger, bulkier vehicles would have been inefficient for most tasks, the Type 17 provided a nimble and reliable alternative. This compact truck was powered by a modest engine, a typical feature of the time, as fuel efficiency took precedence over power. In a country where resources were limited and fuel was often scarce, the Type 17 offered a solution that didn't demand excessive fuel consumption. Its engine, though small, allowed the vehicle to carry out everyday tasks, such as transporting goods for local businesses, hauling agricultural produce, or ferrying tools and equipment for craftsmen. Small-scale activities that kept the wheels of the economy turning. For its users, the Type 17 became an essential tool for economic survival, allowing them to remain competitive in a market that was rebuilding itself from the ground up. The bed of the Type 17 was, as expected, modest. While its capacity was small compared to larger trucks, its real value lay in its utility. The truck was designed not to carry massive amounts of heavy cargo, but rather to provide businesses with a practical means to transport goods within the confines of a city or small town. The limited payload capacity didn't hinder the Type 17's effectiveness in a world where the need for quick, cost-effective transportation often outweighed the need for large, cumbersome vehicles. It was an affordable solution for local businesses to expand their reach, allowing them to deliver goods and services efficiently. In a time when transportation options were scarce and expensive, the Datsun Type 17 was the kind of vehicle that could make or break small businesses, and for many, it did just that. What truly sets the Datsun Type 17 apart, however, is its place in the broader context of Japanese automotive history. Japan's automotive industry was still in its nascent stages during the late 1930s and early 1940s, and many of the vehicles produced during this time were heavily influenced by Western designs. American cars, in particular, served as the primary inspiration for much of the early work by Japanese automakers. However, in this period of rapid industrialization and global conflict, Datsun's engineers began to carve out their own path. The Type 17 was one of the brand's early successes, a product of Japanese ingenuity that addressed the unique needs of the local market. It was lightweight, efficient, and above all, practical, a stark contrast to the large, gas-guzzling vehicles that dominated other parts of the world. Despite its practicality, the Type 17 was never widely known outside of Japan. During its production years, Japan was still a largely insular market, with little opportunity to export vehicles on a mass scale. Moreover, the outbreak of World War II redirected much of the country's industrial capacity to military production. As a result, the Type 17 remained a vehicle primarily for domestic consumption, never achieving the international recognition that other early Japanese cars would later enjoy. While the rest of the world was focused on wartime innovations, the Datsun Type 17 quietly made its mark as a small but important part of Japan's economic recovery. For those who are lucky enough to encounter a surviving example of the Type 17 today, the vehicle carries with it a legacy that transcends its small size. It's not just a nostalgic relic. It's a symbol of how Japan's automotive industry began, grounded in modesty and practicality. It represents the kind of resourcefulness that defined the era, a time when people had to make do with less, yet still found ways to achieve great things. The Datsun Type 17 is a piece of history, offering a glimpse into a world where vehicles were not just about horsepower or speed, but about meeting the very real. The 1942 Chevrolet AK Series short bed was a compact workhorse that quietly carved its place in automotive history. As part of Chevrolet's AK Series, it was designed during a time of great industrial and economic upheaval, right at the tail end of the Great Depression and just before the United States entered World War II. The world was on the brink of transformation, and so was the automotive industry, which was shifting from civilian production to war-related manufacturing. Yet, amidst the looming conflict and the ever-changing needs of the economy, the AK Series emerged as a practical, versatile line of trucks, with the short bed version standing out for its unique blend of compact size and capability. At just about 175 inches in length, the short bed AK Series was one of the smallest pickups in Chevrolet's lineup, catering to customers who needed a vehicle capable of handling lighter loads. While the larger variants of the AK Series, with their extended beds and heavy-duty frames, garnered much of the attention, the short bed model offered a more nimble alternative that appealed to small businesses, farmers, and individuals who needed a more manageable truck. This smaller version made it easier to navigate tight city streets or narrow country lanes, a feature that was particularly valuable as America was still transitioning into an era of greater mobility. Yet many rural roads remained unpaved and difficult to traverse. Though small in size, the short bed AK Series did not lack in utility. Its bed, while not designed for heavy hauling, could still accommodate a fair amount of cargo for everyday tasks. Whether it was delivering goods to local markets, transporting tools and equipment for craftsmen, or helping farmers with their daily chores, this pickup offered the kind of reliability that made it an essential part of the fabric of American life during the 1940s. The truck's compact nature made it an ideal solution for those who didn't require the massive hauling capacity of its larger counterparts, but still needed something more than a passenger car. The short bed model's appeal was in its efficiency. It was not a vehicle that demanded excessive fuel consumption, nor did it require large spaces to maneuver. For the average American of the time, it was a practical solution, one that could be used for both business and personal needs. Its modest size also meant that it was easier to park and store, which made it an attractive option for those with limited space. It wasn't built for luxury or excessive performance. It was designed to be a reliable, hardworking tool for the everyday user. Despite its practical advantages, the short bed AK Series was largely overshadowed by its bigger, more popular siblings in the AK lineup. The larger models, such as the long bed and one-ton versions, were better suited to meet the needs of larger businesses and those who required greater payloads for their operations. These larger trucks were better suited for heavy-duty work, and as a result, they received much of the attention. Yet, the short bed model quietly held its own, serving a niche group of customers who didn't need a heavy-duty vehicle, but still wanted the dependability that Chevrolet was known for. In the context of its time, the short bed AK Series was a reflection of America's evolving needs. World War II was on the horizon, and the country's industrial output was soon to shift to military production. But the civilian market still required vehicles that could support the country's growing economy. The short bed AK was perfectly positioned to meet those needs, offering a practical, efficient option that could carry on the daily tasks of businesses, farms, and individuals alike. While it may not have captured the public's imagination the way some of Chevrolet's other models did, The AK series short bed pickup nonetheless represented a significant step in the evolution of the American truck. Its small size may have limited its overall capacity, but its utility was never in doubt. It was a vehicle designed to be used, not just admired from a distance. And in that sense, it encapsulated the spirit of the time. Practical, reliable, and ready to meet the demands of a rapidly changing world. The short bed AK series may not have been the largest or most powerful truck in Chevrolet's lineup, but it proved that sometimes the smallest packages can offer the most value. Today, the 1942 Chevrolet AK series short bed may not be as well known as some of its larger counterparts, but it remains a vital piece of history. It serves as a reminder of a time when trucks were built for function, not just for show. It's easy to see why it might have been overshadowed by its more famous siblings, but for those who appreciate the quiet, steadfast reliability of a small, hard-working vehicle, the short bed AK series stands as a testament to the humble origins of American truck design. The 1949 Morris Minor pickup is a charming example of a micro pickup that offered practicality in a remarkably compact package. This pint-sized workhorse was based on the ever-popular Morris Minor sedan, which had already won hearts across Britain as a simple, reliable, and affordable car for everyday use. The pickup version, introduced in 1949, took the same utilitarian design of the Morris Minor and adapted it to meet the needs of small businesses, farmers, and delivery services in post-war Britain. At just around 129 inches in length, the Morris Minor pickup was tiny by the standards of the time. With its compact frame, it was about as small as many contemporary cars, yet it managed to incorporate a functional flatbed at the rear. The bed was modest in size but sufficient for light-duty hauling tasks, such as delivering goods or transporting small equipment. Its small dimensions made it highly maneuverable, ideal for navigating narrow streets, crowded market areas, or tight alleyways, spaces that larger trucks of the era would struggle to enter. Though its payload capacity was limited compared to larger vehicles, the Morris Minor pickup's ability to provide a simple, no-frills solution for delivery needs made it quite popular among small businesses, grocers, tradesmen, and other local entrepreneurs. It was particularly well-suited for use in the busy, congested urban centers of post-war Britain, where larger trucks were often impractical for everyday tasks. Despite its diminutive size, the Morris Minor pickup could haul an impressive amount of goods, particularly when the load was light or the task required nimbleness rather than brute strength. One of the most significant features of this little truck was its affordability. In the aftermath of World War II, Britain needed economic solutions that would help its businesses thrive without putting a strain on finances. The Morris Minor pickup offered just that, a budget-friendly alternative to larger, more expensive commercial vehicles. With a simple engine and minimal frills, it was easy to maintain and operated efficiently without excessive fuel consumption. For those who didn't need the heavy-duty capability of larger trucks, the Minor pickup was a perfect match. While the Morris Minor pickup's small size and basic construction made it well-suited for light work, it was never intended to compete with larger, more powerful trucks in terms of performance. It was a vehicle built for practicality, designed to get the job done without unnecessary complexity. The flatbed was straightforward, offering just enough space for everyday cargo, while the small engine was more than capable of handling the kind of loads expected from a vehicle of its size. This made it perfect for businesses that didn't require large transport vehicles, but still needed something more substantial than a car. However, despite its practicality, the Morris Minor pickup remained a niche vehicle, not widely exported outside of the UK. As such, it didn't achieve the kind of fame or recognition in markets like the United States, where larger pickups and vans were far more common. The pickup version was produced in limited numbers, and Morris Motors focused more on their core sedans and cars, meaning the Minor pickup faded into relative obscurity outside of Britain. It was never mass-marketed to the broader public and remained a vehicle for a select group of customers who appreciated its simplicity and utility. The Morris Minor pickup's place in automotive history is often overshadowed by its more famous siblings, particularly the iconic Morris Minor sedan, which remains one of the most beloved British cars of all time. Nonetheless, the pickup version of the Morris Minor represents an important chapter in the development of small commercial vehicles. Its small size, practicality, and no-frills design offer a glimpse into an era when simplicity and utility were the priorities. And it stands as a testament to the ingenuity of designers who could create a functional work vehicle from such modest beginnings. Today, the 1949 Morris Minor pickup is a rare collector's item, cherished by vintage car enthusiasts and those who admire its quirky charm. It's a reminder of a time when vehicles were built for purpose and practicality, not size or luxury. For those who appreciate the little things in life, the Morris Minor pickup is a delightful example of how even the smallest vehicles can make a big impact, especially in the context of post-war Britain. Though it may not have been a vehicle meant for the masses, it was a lifeline for those who relied on it to run their businesses and keep their operations moving in a rapidly changing world. The 1946 Goliath GD750 is a fascinating glimpse into post-war German automotive ingenuity, offering an unusual combination of compact design and functional utility. This three-wheeled micro pickup, which measures just around 40 inches in length, is an emblem of how necessity drives innovation, especially in the aftermath of the war when resources were limited and Europe's cities were in desperate need of efficient, low-cost transportation solutions. The Goliath GD750 was designed not only to be compact and easy to maneuver in narrow, crowded urban streets, but also to meet the demands of small businesses and local tradespeople who needed to transport goods on a small scale. Its design allowed it to capitalize on the economic conditions of the time, when businesses were rebuilding and looking for cost-effective, practical transportation. Built with an ultra-small 750cc engine, the Goliath GD750 was ideally suited for light-duty tasks, which was its primary appeal. The truck was never intended to be a heavy-duty hauler. Instead, it catered to a very niche market, including small retailers, local craftsmen, and businesses that needed to make short trips within the city limits. The Willys small engine provided just enough power for minimal hauling, making it more of a runabout than a true workhorse. But the Goliath GD750's real strength lay in its size and economy. It could easily navigate the congested streets of European cities, its compact design allowing it to park in tight spaces, maneuver around corners with ease, and deliver goods quickly and efficiently. What made the Goliath GD750 stand out was its three-wheel configuration. It had one wheel in the front and two in the rear, giving it a distinctly quirky look compared to conventional four-wheeled vehicles. While this design may seem strange by modern standards, it had practical benefits. The Bantam three-wheeled setup made the GD750 cheaper to produce, lighter in weight, and more maneuverable than traditional trucks. Additionally, in many countries, vehicles with three wheels were classified as motorized tricycles, which often meant lower taxes and less stringent regulations. This gave small business owners a financial incentive to choose the Goliath over a larger, four-wheeled pickup truck. But despite its charm and innovation, the three-wheel design did come with its downsides. While it offered good fuel economy and reduced costs, it also limited the vehicle's stability, especially when driving at higher speeds or in adverse weather conditions. The lack of a rear wheel at the center meant that the vehicle could be prone to tipping, especially when carrying loads that were not properly balanced. This made the GD750 ideal for short trips and light cargo, but less suited to more demanding tasks. Still, for those who needed a cheap, efficient vehicle to make local deliveries, the Goliath GD750 was the perfect fit. The vehicle's small engine, often producing just around 112 horsepower, meant that its performance was not exactly thrilling. It had just enough power to transport small amounts of goods, but it struggled when it came to more substantial loads. Its maximum speed was limited, and the vehicle was slow compared to larger pickups of the time. However, the GD750 was not built for speed or power. It was a vehicle designed with an emphasis on economy and practicality. The small payload capacity, while modest, was enough for the average small business in need of a compact delivery vehicle. The lightweight and small size also meant that the truck was very easy to park and maneuver, a key benefit for those operating in crowded urban environments. Another interesting aspect of the Goliath GD750 was the cultural context in which it existed. Germany, in the immediate aftermath of World War II, was rebuilding, and the economy was in a state of flux. With large portions of Europe's infrastructure in ruins, there was a pressing need for affordable, efficient transportation. The GD750 was built for the specific economic conditions of post-war Europe, where consumers and businesses were looking for simple solutions to the problem of transport. While larger vehicles were still in demand, the Goliath provided an affordable, practical alternative for small businesses. It became a go-to option for a variety of tradesmen and small service providers who needed a vehicle for local deliveries, a niche market that was largely underappreciated by the larger manufacturers of the time. The Goliath brand itself was relatively small compared to industry giants like Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz, which overshadowed the company in terms of production and distribution. Goliath vehicles were not as widely available, especially outside of Europe. The GD750 was a specialty vehicle that did not see much export success, making it a rare sight outside its home country. While the brand did produce other vehicles, the Bantam 1940 Austin 8 HP utility pickup is a remarkable example of compact British engineering that played a crucial role in post-Depression urban life. While its specifications, 1.4 inches in length and a modest 8-horsepower engine, seemed diminutive by modern standards, they represented a highly efficient, practical solution for small businesses operating in the crowded streets of pre-war Britain. Designed primarily for urban delivery and light-duty hauling, this micro pickup was built with a particular focus on weight efficiency, maneuverability, and economy, making it perfectly suited for its time. The tiny flatbed was perhaps the most iconic feature of the Austin 8 HP utility pickup. Its minimal cargo area wasn't designed for the heavy lifting that larger trucks were capable of, but it was ideally suited for transporting small goods, packages, or tools across tight urban spaces. The low bed height made it easy to load and unload, and the vehicle's compact size allowed it to navigate through narrow streets, alleyways, and busy city centers where larger vehicles would have been impractical. One of the standout characteristics of the Austin 8 HP utility pickup was its incredibly lightweight design. At a time when many vehicles were built to handle much larger loads, this pickup's small 8-horsepower engine made it perfect for businesses that didn't require the raw power of larger trucks. Despite its small engine, it was sufficiently powerful for the small loads it was meant to carry, providing just enough torque to move light packages or cargo with ease. While it couldn't carry heavy machinery or construction materials, it was incredibly efficient in the kinds of tasks that businesses in urban areas needed, delivering groceries, tools, fabrics, or other small commodities. The vehicle's fuel efficiency was key to its appeal, particularly in the context of the wartime fuel shortages that loomed over Europe. Its small size made it much more nimble and fuel efficient compared to the larger trucks of the era. The Austin 8 HP was designed to keep the overall vehicle weight down, reducing strain on the engine and maximizing fuel economy. In a world still recovering from the impact of the Great Depression, businesses needed affordable, functional vehicles, and this pickup offered an economical way to handle basic delivery tasks. Its practicality, low cost of operation, and ease of maneuvering in urban environments made it a popular choice for small shop owners, delivery services, and tradespeople who didn't require a large fleet of vehicles or the burden of a hefty price tag. The Bantam Morris Minor was another vehicle from which the Austin 8 HP drew inspiration. The Morris Minor sedan had already earned a reputation for being a practical, reliable, and affordable car, and the Austin 8 HP's design followed this same principle. What set the Austin 8 HP utility pickup apart was its commercial utility, and it provided business owners with a compact, functional tool to navigate urban roads while offering a practical and cost-effective solution to their delivery needs. However, despite its strengths, The Austin 8 HP utility pickup was not the vehicle for heavy-duty work. It wasn't built for hauling large, heavy items, and its tiny 8-horsepower engine made it unsuitable for anything beyond light loads. For companies that needed more robust hauling capacity, the Austin 8 HP simply couldn't compete with larger, more powerful trucks of the time. Additionally, it wasn't widely marketed outside of the UK, so it didn't find the same level of commercial success internationally. As a result, it remained something of a niche vehicle, largely unknown outside the circles of collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate its unique design and functional history. Despite its practicality, the Austin 8 HP utility pickup never achieved the kind of widespread fame or legacy enjoyed by its larger counterparts from brands like Ford or Chevrolet, which dominated the American and European markets. Its small size, humble engine, and utilitarian design made it a vehicle that appealed only to a very specific market segment. As the decades went by, larger trucks with more powerful engines and better hauling capacities eventually became the standard for businesses requiring vehicles for transportation. Yet, for those businesses that operated in tightly packed urban areas or that didn't need to carry heavy goods, the Austin 8 HP remained a handy, practical solution. Today, this quaint little pickup has earned a place in automotive history as a reminder of a time when practical solutions to urban transportation needs were the driving force behind design. It's a vintage vehicle that speaks to the simplicity and ingenuity of early 20th century automotive engineering. While it may never have been as well known as some of its larger counterparts, the Austin 8 HP utility pickup. The world of cars and trucks is full of interesting, sometimes unusual vehicles that often don't get the attention they deserve. We look at the big names, the iconic designs, and the vehicles that dominate the streets. But every now and then, something unique comes along, often from humble origins, and leaves behind a lasting impression. These vehicles might not be famous, but they offer a glimpse into different times, different needs, and different ways of thinking about transportation. Take, for example, the era right after World War II. The automotive world was in the process of recovering, and people needed vehicles that could help them rebuild. It wasn't just about luxury or style, it was about practicality. Farmers, small businesses, and individuals needed something simple, something reliable. But of course, they didn't always get it in the most expected ways. The Ford Model 9N pickup, for instance, started as a tractor, a basic agricultural tool. This was no ordinary pickup truck. It was a conversion, something cobbled together to meet the needs of a specific group of people. During the war, most resources were diverted to military use, and civilian vehicles were often in short supply. But farmers still needed to work, still needed vehicles that could carry supplies, tools, and even people. The 9N pickup became a solution for those in rural areas, where the usual heavy-duty trucks were impractical. It had the heart of a tractor, built to withstand rough conditions, but it carried a pickup bed for lighter work, a practical, if odd, hybrid. Then there's the Morris Minor pickup from 1949. At just 129 inches long, it was one of the smallest pickups ever made. It wasn't built for heavy-duty work. It was designed to be an efficient and practical way of getting goods from one place to another in urban environments. In Britain, the Morris Minor pickup made its mark. It was affordable, reliable, and simple. Yet, outside of its niche, the world didn't know much about it. It was overshadowed by larger, more powerful vehicles that became the icons of the time. The Morris Minor pickup remains a curiosity for car enthusiasts, a charming little vehicle that met the demands of its time, but was never quite the star it deserved to be. Then there's the world of cars and trucks that seem to have disappeared entirely, like the Goliath GD750 from the late 1940s. A German three-wheeled pickup powered by a 750cc engine, it was as odd as it was practical. Small, lightweight, and able to handle small loads, it fit a niche that didn't require a full-size truck. But in a world that was quickly growing bigger and more powerful, the GD750 found itself fading into obscurity. The Goliath brand itself never made much of a splash outside Europe. And this little three-wheeler is now more of a footnote than a legend. The Austin 8HP utility pickup, another quirky creation, was built with a simple philosophy in mind. It wasn't about big engines or flashy designs. It was about getting the job done. With just an 8-horsepower engine and a tiny bed, it was made for light, local work, and it thrived in its role as a practical urban delivery vehicle. Small and efficient, the Austin 8HP didn't need to impress anyone. It simply needed to serve, and it did so in a way that larger, flashier vehicles could not. Each of these vehicles might have been overlooked in their time, but they show a different side of the automotive world, a side where practicality and ingenuity were more important than looks or power. They represent a time when vehicles were tools first and foremost, built to help people meet the challenges of their daily lives, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Cars and trucks, even the quirky ones, leave an impact. Whether they're small, simple, or downright bizarre, they tell a story of an era, a need, or a moment in history. They're reminders of a time when people didn't always have the luxury of choosing the biggest, fastest, or most glamorous option. Instead, they often made do with what they could get, and sometimes those lesser vehicles were the ones that proved to be the most important. There's something fascinating about these cars. They don't have the glamour or the fame of their big brothers, but they played their parts. Whether we remember them or not, they remain a testament to the ingenuity, resourcefulness, and shown necessity that shaped the world of cars, trucks, and beyond. Their stories may be hidden away, tucked into the corners of automotive history, but they deserve to be told because every vehicle, no matter how small, has a story. The 1948 Willys Jeep Pickup is an iconic vehicle in the history of the American automobile industry. Born out of the legendary China Willys Jeep, which gained fame for its performance during World War II, this civilian pickup version sought to provide practical utility and durability for the post-war world. In the late 1940s, as the country was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime industry, there was a significant demand for vehicles that could handle the tough conditions of rural America while providing value to businesses and individuals alike. Measuring 177 inches in length, the in 1948 Willys Jeep Pickup was compact by the standards of the time. Its short bed and compact frame were designed to serve a niche market that required versatility. Unlike larger full-size trucks, the Willys Jeep Pickup was built to maneuver easily through narrow lanes and tight spaces, essential in rural environments or crowded urban streets. While its compact size made it ideal for small businesses, farms, and individuals who needed a vehicle capable of handling light hauling tasks, the four-wheel drive capability set it apart from its competitors, making it a standout for anyone who needed a truck that could go off-road. At the heart of our Willys Jeep Pickup was the same ruggedness that made the original Jeep a military legend. With its four-wheel drive system, this truck could navigate through rough terrain, muddy paths, or even up rocky inclines without missing a beat. The four-wheel drive offered superior traction compared to the rear-wheel drive trucks of the time, providing it with the ability to traverse difficult conditions with ease. Whether it was used for hauling small agricultural loads or simply as a go-anywhere utility vehicle, the Willys Jeep Pickup was designed to be adaptable and reliable, able to tackle just about any task. However, while the Onshan in 1948 Willys Jeep Pickup was undoubtedly built with ruggedness in mind, it was not without its limitations. The payload capacity of the truck was modest, as the bed was relatively small compared to the larger, more conventional pickup trucks of the era. While this made the Willys Jeep Pickup perfect for light-duty work, it wasn't ideal for commercial hauling or large-scale industrial use. Its smaller bed and more compact frame meant that it was often overshadowed by the larger, more robust trucks offered by companies like Ford and Chevrolet. But its compact size was also its strength, allowing it to cater to a different set of needs. Those who valued off-road capability and versatility over sheer hauling power. The truck was also designed with a utilitarian aesthetic. The cab was simple, offering a basic but functional interior that prioritized practicality over luxury. The dashboard was minimalistic, with the controls designed for easy access and operation. It wasn't a vehicle built for comfort or style. It was built to work. In the years following its release, the 1948 Willys Jeep Pickup gained a following among farmers, ranchers, and small business owners who appreciated its ability to navigate rugged terrain while still offering a basic level of hauling capacity. However, despite its niche appeal, the Cuarto Willys Jeep Pickup was overshadowed by the more popular Jeep CJ series, which gained widespread acclaim in the civilian market. The 1948 Willys Jeep Pickup is four-wheel drive system, while innovative, was not enough to elevate it into the mainstream pickup market, where larger trucks with greater payloads continue to dominate. As a result, Willys Overland did not see the sales success it hoped for with this truck. Nevertheless, it carved out a lasting legacy among enthusiasts of vintage vehicles. Today, the 1948 Willys Jeep Pickup holds a unique place in automotive history, with collectors and classic truck lovers appreciating its simplicity, ruggedness, and military heritage. While it may have been limited in its commercial success during its initial production run, the 1948 Willys Jeep Pickup has proven to be a timeless classic, with collectors seeking out well-preserved models. Its compact size made it a standout in a world dominated by larger, bulkier vehicles, and its four-wheel drive system ensured that it could go places that many other trucks couldn't. The Willys Jeep Pickup served as a precursor to a new era of trucks that emphasized utility and toughness over size and power. It was designed for those who needed a reliable, no-nonsense vehicle that could go anywhere and do anything. One of the reasons the 1948 Willys Jeep Pickup remains such a beloved vehicle today is its status as a pioneer in off-road vehicles. The blend of four-wheel drive, compact design, and rugged construction allowed it to serve as a multi-purpose workhorse, capable of light hauling, farming, and general transport across rough terrain. The 1940 Bantam Pickup is a fascinating piece of American automotive history, particularly given its connection to the development of the legendary Jeep, manufactured by the American Bantam Company, which was already well known for creating the pioneer prototype Jeep that would go on to become an icon of military utility. The 1940 Bantam Pickup stood out for its diminutive size and unique design. At just 135 inches in length, the Bantam Pickup was remarkably compact. It was a micro pickup in every sense of the word, with a small bed and a design meant to cater to those who needed a vehicle for light-duty work or urban transport. Its small size made it perfect for maneuvering in tight spaces, but it also limited its cargo capacity. It wasn't intended for hauling large loads or towing heavy equipment. Instead, it offered a practical solution for people who needed a modest vehicle capable of handling light-duty tasks. Despite its compact nature, the Bantam Pickup was notable for its ruggedness and simplicity, characteristics that would later define the Jeep. The Bantam Pickup was produced during a challenging time for the American Bantam Company. The company had been a key player in the early days of the Jeep project, but faced significant financial difficulties during the 1940s. The Bantam Pickup, while unique and innovative, was produced in limited quantities, and Bantam struggled to compete with larger, more established automakers. As a result, Bantam ceased operations shortly after the war, and the 1940 Bantam Pickup became a rare collector's item. What made this vehicle even more intriguing was the connection it had with the Jeep. The company's involvement in the development of the Jeep prototype helped pave the way for the larger, more capable military vehicles that would define American mobility during World War II. In many ways, the 1940 Bantam Pickup was a precursor to the Jeep's own legendary design, boasting similar traits in terms of utility, compactness, and ruggedness. Despite the Bantam Pickup being overshadowed by other vehicles of its time, particularly those produced by larger manufacturers like Ford and Chevrolet. Its historical significance cannot be understated. Its compact design and its own practical nature gave it a certain charm, particularly for those who needed a simple, no-frills workhorse for light hauling and delivery. It was small, efficient, and capable of handling the tasks that many other trucks of the era were too large or too cumbersome for. In terms of mile specifications, the 1940 Bantam Pickup was powered by a modest engine that wasn't designed for high performance or speed, but for durability and simplicity. Its tiny bed was perfect for small businesses, local deliveries, and personal use, although it would never be able to compete with larger trucks in terms of hauling capacity. Sadly, the 1940 Bantam Pickup did not live long in production, as the American Bantam Company was unable to recover from its financial troubles. However, the Bantam's legacy lived on in the Jeep in its future iterations. The compact, functional design of the Bantam Pickup foreshadowed the off-road vehicles that would later dominate the landscape, offering a blend of rugged practicality and simplicity. Despite its obscurity in mainstream automotive history, the 1940 Bantam Pickup holds a unique place as an early example of American innovation. It may have been small in size, but its historical importance and connection to the washed-on Jeep make it a significant vehicle for collectors and automotive enthusiasts. The fact that it was produced in such limited quantities only adds to its allure, making it a rare find for those who appreciate its history and the legacy of the Pierce American Bantam Company. Today, the 1940 Bantam Pickup is a quasi collector's gem for those interested in the early days of both American automotive manufacturing and the development of military vehicles. It serves as a reminder of a time when small businesses and light-duty vehicles were essential parts of the American economy, and it highlights the ingenuity and versatility of the American Bantam Company, even in the face of financial hardship. The 1947 Crosley Pickup is a fascinating piece of automotive history, particularly for those who appreciate the era of microcars and the niche vehicles that filled unique needs in the post-war American landscape. This small pickup, with a length of just 145 inches, was a compact workhorse built on the chassis of the Crosley station wagon. It was a prime example of a vehicle that was simple, efficient, and designed for a specific, often overlooked market. Powered by a modest 26 horsepower, four-cylinder engine, the 1947 Crosley Pickup was never meant to compete with larger, more powerful trucks of the era. Instead, it was designed for light-duty hauling, making it an ideal choice for small businesses or individuals who needed a practical, affordable way to transport goods without the need for a full-size truck. Its small size and low weight made it extremely maneuverable, and the ability to carry modest loads made it suitable for deliveries in urban areas or on tight roads. Despite its humble powertrain, the Crosley Pickup offered a surprising level of utility. The vehicle featured a small bed, which, while not large enough for heavy-duty work, could still handle the kind of light loads that small businesses or local farmers might need to carry. Its low center of gravity and small frame also made it surprisingly stable compared to other vehicles in the same weight class. Crosley vehicles, including the Bantam Pickup, were never mass-produced on a large scale, which is one reason why this particular model remains relatively obscure. The company's cars were targeted primarily at a niche market of budget-conscious buyers and small business owners, with a focus on simplicity, reliability, and low cost. The 1947 Crosley Pickup was a practical solution for those who didn't need or couldn't afford a full-size truck. What also made the Crosley Pickup unique was its role in post-war America, a time when economic recovery was well underway but the demand for affordable, practical vehicles was still high. The Crosley brand, like other manufacturers of microcars, catered to individuals who were not looking for luxury or performance, but instead wanted something functional and cost-effective. With its affordable price tag, it provided a convenient option for businesses that needed to transport goods but didn't require the capabilities of a larger truck. Why you may not know it, the Crosley Pickup wasn't widely marketed or mass-produced. In fact, Crosley vehicles were produced in limited numbers, making them a rare sight even when they were new. Crosley's limited production runs and focus on niche markets meant that their vehicles didn't have the widespread appeal of larger manufacturers like Ford, Chevrolet, or Dodge, all of which dominated the truck market at the time. As a result, the quaintish Crosley Pickup often gets overshadowed by the more iconic trucks that have become staples of American automotive history. However, the 1947 Crosley Pickup still holds a charming place in the hearts of always automotive enthusiasts and collectors today. Its compact size and quirky design make it a standout example of post-war ingenuity. While it may not have been a powerhouse or a massive commercial success, it proved to be a valuable asset for those who needed something small, affordable, and functional. In the modern times, the 1947 Crosley Pickup is appreciated for its historical significance, offering a glimpse into an era when practicality often took precedence over size and power. Its small stature and unique design make it a perfect example of a vehicle built for a very specific, albeit important, purpose, providing an affordable, reliable solution for light hauling in an era of growing economic optimism. Though it might have been overshadowed by larger trucks and more popular vehicles from the era, the 1947 Crosley Pickup remains an intriguing piece of automotive history, and its rarity only adds to its allure. Today, it's a vehicle that appeals to collectors and those with a passion for the less conventional side of automotive history.